Oh, I just woke up now and I feel like let me just record the video for you guys. So first of all, good day everyone, back again to another video. So today we're trying to understand some basic styling from what we did in the last section or the last video we had. So we want to dive into style. We were looking at HTML, some basic syntax, and some important things we need to know in HTML, but we have not brought in anything style. So this time around, we are trying to bring in style to HTML to see how it works. So without wasting time, I would like us to simply dive. So as we dive in, we found that we are in our desktop. The last work we are working on was inside Unizig folder. That's where we have our HTML file. So we'll try to open it up to know what we have there. So currently, just to refresh your mind, we have our CSS folder, images folder, JS, and our index.html file, which we were working on before. So let's try and open up this index.html and see what we have. So now we just have a simple HTML code. There is no style. So like this, it doesn't make sense. Nothing like users will run away from your site. So that's the reason why we need to come up with, add up this CSS to it to make sure that it makes sense, look good, so that users can, wow, be there, enjoy the site, know that this is a real web page. So without wasting any of our time, what are we going to do? I will make it in a way that it will be very simple for us and we understand. So there are some important resources I would like to open up. This will help to guide us as we go ahead to design, and even you as you are studying, I will recommend you still go through them and it will help you to speed up your learning skills. So this time around, let's go to W3 school. So that's one good resources I would like us to look at. So once we open W3 school, click on tutorials, we'll have we look for what we're looking for is CSS. So we'll have a HTML, which is also good. We'll go through them, but if you have time, start going through it. There is no time. So now I'm going to this CSS to understand some basic and important things that we need to know. So this, all we have here is links, series of links of what you have to cover in CSS, which is very important. I will try as much as possible to look through, go through and the important ones that matter so much. I may not take time to go one by one, so please, one thing I'm pleading, try as much as possible to visit this page. Come back to the W3 school, cover as much as possible some important things. I'm not promoting them, but they have a nice resources here which that can help you speed up your development skill. So that's the main reason why I'm just recommending it for you guys. So now, without wasting time, I'm going to introduction. You find that introduction we are seeing what we call what is CSS from what I'm seeing here. So we need to understand some basic definition of CSS. CSS stands for cascading style sheets. That's it. So CSS describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on the screen, paper, or in other medias. So CSS saves a lot of work. External style sheets are stored in CSS file. So some of these things are the things we are going to be looking into today, trying to cover as much as possible in order to make our work look nice. Remember, we have a HTML web page we are trying to style. That's one reason that we are here, just to understand some important things concerning it. So we can simply go to what we call CSS syntax. These are a link after introduction. So this syntax is very important that you understand some important things, especially when we talk about selectors, declaration. All these things are very, very important that we understand them. So I will try to explain some important things about it. So now going back to our code. Going back to our code, where is our code? Okay, we have not opened up our code yet. So we'll try to open it up in a text editor. I right clicked and I have our VS Code. We'll have Notepad++. I think we'll be continuing with Notepad++. As time goes on, we'll move over to VS Code. Anyone you wish to use is okay. None is bad, none is good. Just it's a personal choice. I'm choosing VS Code now so that I can be able to point out some important things. It helps me to display things better, opening and closing tag. Then if you are still starting newly, I recommend that turn off your IntelliSense. That's all like VS Code have a lot of things to guide you. It doesn't encourage you learning because you find that the system is the one guiding you far. But you need to on your own type every key, type everything out. As you type them continuously, find that it helps you to learn fast, helps you to know it offhand. So please try and find a way. Don't be following don't be guided too much by all this intelligence that comes with VS Code and many other text editors. So now opening up our work with our Notepad plus plus is open. Good, 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 good. So this is what we did last time. So we just have our basic HTML code. Like one is simply talking about our doc type, which is HTML5. Remind you, let me just refreshing your mind, refreshing what we did last time. Let me just talk about. So we have our HTML, which we must close. Don't forget, once you open HTML, you must close HTML. Then inside this HTML, there are two important sections we must take note of. We have the head section and we have the body section. The head section comes first, just like a typical human being that have the head first, we have the body second. So please ensure that you have this head section and you close, body section and you close. Then inside the head section, there are important things like I've mentioned the last time that must exist. One of them is title. Another one is link. Linking, when we are trying to connect to external files and the rest of them, all those things are within the head. And know that anything in the head does not show on the screen. The title will only show on the menu bar, like we are seeing our my first HTML class. If we go back to our code and look, you can only see this in the menu bar, my first HTML class. But nothing on the head section will appear on the screen. When we say screen, from this line down, everything down here, that's the screen for you. So now mean that in the body section, anything we have in the body section, any will definitely come up on the screen. Anything within the body section appears on the screen. So that's the thing, something to take home. Now going back to what we are doing and trying to come on start add the CSS to this file. So back to what I was explaining on how we can easily dive in and start styling our work. So that will take me to selector. I will still come back to syntax and important things. But now when we are talking of should I start? Okay, there's something I'm looking for. A minute, a minute, a minute, a minute, a minute. To open. Okay, so now this is very important. So I will start from here, then we'll dive into other important things. It will help us understand this better. That's why I'm just going here. So one thing we are going to take home now is what? There are three ways to insert CSS to our work. Because we have our HTML, we are now thinking of what's next. How do we bring in this CSS into the work? So now they are telling us that we have what three ways. We have the external CSS, we have the internal CSS, and we have the inline CSS. Let me try and explain, or maybe as we go on. So okay, without wasting your time, let's start with this internal CSS. So whenever we talk of internal CSS, there are something we must know concerning it. Internal CSS is any style that must come within the head section. That head section is the one I told you that does not show on the screen. It's just background process. So it helps us to process and know what our requirements are, what our page is needed, whatever, and load them in the body, within the body section. So going back to see how this internal CSS work. So mean that since we said it must come within the head section, if we want, we insert it here. It doesn't mean anything. The position you but it must be within this head section. Don't forget that if you wish, you can still give space. Spacing does not affect whatever you are doing, no matter the amount of space you give. Yeah, so what's the browser is about to interpret this or to go through this code, it will jump all this face. It doesn't mean anything. So please, now within this head section, like I said, we are going to do what? Choose any aspect of it. Okay, sorry, let me take away this. So we'll have a simple title within the head for now. So once we do enter, depending on whether I want to place it before the title or after the title. So I'm just placing it after the title, the style I want to do now. So internal means what? We now need to let our HTML know that we are bringing in CSS. How do we do it? We open a tag called what? Style. We close. So when I say close, we mean what? Something of this nature. So we do what? We close our work. We open style and we close style. Now I want to write it in multi-line, not in single line. That's why I'm breaking it down. So currently, if you wish, you can add this relative to style sheet. So the system will know that you are talking of CSS, because CSS stands for what? Cascading style sheets. So now we are saying relative to style sheets. So that's what we should know. So with this few code, this line of code we have written here, it makes it simple that once our browser is about interpretation or reading our code, it will come to line 1 and say, I know what you're talking about. You are explaining that you are telling us now that you are working with the latest version of HTML, which is HTML5. Coming down, you say, okay, I can see that you just opened HTML, which I know you are closing down. Good. It comes to the head section, you see the title, it will process the title, take it to the what menu bar in the browser. Coming here to say, wow, I'm taking note of the styling now that you're about to run some important styles. Good. So how does this style work? It simply work like, let me give you a good example of it. So in a class of 30 students, a teacher can just walk in, and once he walks into the class, he can mention something like, Ben, stand up. So when you say Ben, stand up, what happens? If there is anybody answering Ben in that class, he will stand up. He can come in, walk into the class and say, Ben, take this color. Ben, take this height. Ben, take this. Ben will have to do what? Take it. So assuming we have 4 Ben, once he walks into the class and say, Ben, stand up, the 4 guys will do what? Stand up. They have no option. So Ben, take this t-shirt. The 4 guys will have to do what? Take the t-shirt. They have no option. So that's how it works. Once they come in, once he's being called, those people that are called must answer to. They must answer. So that's what this CSS is. So here it's just assuming that a teacher, or what will I call it, just walk into the class. Here is the class comprising of a lot of students. As you can see, when we say students, we are talking of elements. Like we have our div, we have div, we have div, we have button. We even have this body that is holding everything or housing everything we have that displays on the screen. So all of them have their name. This one is body, this one is div, this one is button. So before continuing, I would like to explain what I mentioned elements for us to understand what is an element. So whenever we're talking of elements, what do you understand by element? Element is simply the first word we see in a tag. The first word we see in a tag. We can have something like body. Other things can come in. Maybe we'll have width as we go on, but not now. We'll make use of these things as we go on. So mean that the element in this tag is what? Just the first word. And those first words are also what we call the name of the tag. Like this is the body tag. If you come down to this, you find that we have other attributes that are coming in. So, but the element is simply the first word we are saying the tag, and that is also the name of the tag. So div tag, what's the name of the element? Div. You understand? So you can say what is the name of the element of this tag on line 15. So name of the element is body. What's the name of the tag? Is body tag. So no matter the number of attributes we are going to have at the end of the day, we can be adding more and more attributes as we go on. So, but for now, take note of what we have explained concerning these elements. Good and fine. Now, as we continue, meaning that now we have known today what element is. An element is. So we simply come back within the style and we can start mentioning people's name. We can mention body. Once we mention body, what happens? I need to turn off this intelligence. That I've forgotten how to do it. Let me check, please. Preference. Let me know whether it's this preference. So I think you have editing auto completion complete. So enable auto complete on each distance function parameter. So can now close. I believe that should be off by now. So good. This will help us because I want us to watch and see that we can type everything one by one. It's very important. Don't rely on all this. Once you type a brief suggestion to you, click type suggestion. Tomorrow you may be working with an editor or any place, anywhere that you did not see that you'll be frustrated for life. So please, back to what we are doing. So now I've mentioned a student's name. I assume it to be a student, but this is an element. Like I've told you, official is an element. So it means that once a name is mentioned within this style tag, if you see when I clicked on it, I highlighted it, it will reflect to what we have in the body. It will go within the body and body tag and check for it. Starting from the body tag and within. Who has that name? If anybody has the name, that means if we are giving him any style, he must take it. So now we found out that we wrote body. If we write anything like this and click, then nobody has that name. Because now I can't see anybody showing that I have that name. So nobody is going to take this style. It will just be there. But once we write any useful style that exists or I call any element that exists, the person will simply do what? Answer and take whatever we are giving to him or her. So now we can write what? To background. And when we say background, we'll have background color. We can now give it something like, when we are talking about background, I don't know the background we're going to give it now, but let's think of something of pink. Close. We save our work. Good. So when we go back to our browser and refresh, since I have saved, you find that this whole body, when we say body, everything within this section we are seeing, you can see the whole areas that make up a body. So mean that within this section now, every other elements, content of the web page can now start coming in as you are seeing here. So I just styled the body. I gave it a background color, as you can see, and they have taken it. Good and fine. So assuming you want to talk to this guy, or whatever we call, what do you think should be the answer? Try it out. Let me know if you can get it. So now going back, trying to give background color to these guys. What is their name? Element name. I think the element is what? Div. So can easily come up here. At the end of this opening and closing curly braces, you do enter at the end of it. Don't write it inside it. At the end of it, you are finished with this guy. So you can come down and mention his or her name. So now I've mentioned their name, and what we are having is what we can now give him maybe his own background color. I'm learning how to type, so please people should pardon me if I'm making mistake. So background color, which I can call it teal. Good. If I save and we check what we have within our web browser, we find that what now all those div are taking teal. what is happening? You find that what the whole of them are taken, because when we double click here, what is happening is showing that it's selecting all of them. These guys are members of the whole class, like I gave an example in the classroom. So within this body section, they all have this, those people that have the name div are taking it. So as we go on, we find a way that you can be able to talk to the div on line 21. We'll give it a style. How can we achieve it so that the divs on line, this div on line 22 and this one on line 23 will not take it? It's just unique specifically to the one on line 21. So we'll find a way to achieve it. It's very important. So all these things we are trying to achieve now is simply something. We have a simple web page like this. There are a lot of divs that are involved in this page. When we say div, this place will have this advert we are seeing now, Google AdSense adverts. There is a div that is holding it. We have another advert here. There's another div that is holding. We have this previous and next link. This is another div of its own that goes this way. So we'll still have our menu bar, which is like a div. So from here down to this place, goes up here and come. This is a div. On top of it, we'll still have our directories where we have our logo and site name. This place from here to the extreme is still under div. So CSS have helped us to arrange all these guys. This one will be like this, one will be like this. And at the end of the day, they have their unique names. That's one important thing you should know. So like say no to jam. This is a div. It has a unique name, identity that helps CSS to be able to talk to him uniquely, identify him and tell him, okay, take this style, take this thing, be this place. I want you to be this side. I want you to. So even the arrangement of it, everything, that's what we are looking at. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you guys are following. Put so much. So now, as we continue, we've achieved adding a div, and you will need to be learning. So another property I would like to add here is height. There's a property we'll call what? Height. Height. So when we're looking at height, we can give it the height of, and zoom in 100 pixel. When I say 100 pixel, meaning that whenever we are talking of anything number in CSS, maybe width, you want to give it a number, height, you're giving a number, or what else do we normally give number? There are other things we look at, even our border. So some of those things will always specify the unit we are working with. Mind you, we have multiple units, we have series of units out there. We have percentage, we have cm, we have meter, we have pixel, we have point, we have many of them, even fonts. All those things we need to specify the units we're working with. So most of the times in web, as far as I know, we make use of this pixel. There are areas and there are times we will make use of maybe em, point, percentage. So but for now, let's be guided. The unit we are using for now is what? Pixel. So whenever we write our height, we must put what? This pixel. If I to save this and check, it will take effect. But assuming I remove this pixel, so you can notice that all of them are having a kind of lovely height. We'll try to separate them, but assuming I take away this pixel and save, what will happen? The system will be like, I don't know the unit you are talking of, and they will not give us anything. They will be confused. So that's one thing we should take notes. Back to what we are doing. So another guy I would like to introduce to you now is margin. I know we have not talked of anything margin. So but all this will help us as we are discussing them, we understand more, we learn fast and the rest of them. So when we say margin, I believe the beauty school should have something like that. Okay, I can see it. So having this margin, what does margin mean? Margin means CSS margin property are used to create space around elements outside of any defined borders. So we're using it to achieve creating a space outside of any defined borders. And whenever we are talking of CSS margin, it's very simple. We'll have the margin top when we are trying to create space on the top, right, bottom, and the left. I will do my best to explain what we are talking about. Let me know if they explain something of such here. So good. Let me use this guy here to explain a little concerning it and what we want to look at. Or maybe let's switch over to a better environment to explain it. So we have a simple diagram here which we would like to use to explain more about this margin. At the same time, I will talk about padding so that we start making use of both of them at the same time. So now when we are talking of margin and padding, when we create a div, like in the initial previous tutorial we did, we explained what a div is. Divs are mostly sometimes rectangular, square in shape. You can even convert it to other shapes depending on your choice. So this thing we are seeing here, right here, this one I'm drawing whatever I'm doing, is a typical div. We open a tag and close a tag called div or block elements. So depending on the one you are working with. So this is a div. On a normal, this text that is written here supposed to fill up this whole spaces we are seeing in this place. We are supposed to have something of this nature. Big text. When we write text within that div, opening and closing of a div, we are supposed to have something of this nature, text. But now in this place, they made use of padding. So padding simply means what? Creating a space within the div, within the div content of any item you are working on. So instead of this to fill up the whole space and make maybe at the end of the day it will not look nice to readers and whatever you can think of. So we'll try to create an imaginary, or what would I call it, some spaces to space out something out, space it out so that it will make sense. It will make it easy to read, make our content look nice, and the rest of them. So padding is used to achieve it. So all padding does is it creates this space within the div to push out the content we have within the div, inside the div, push them out of the wall. The wall we are talking of is the border, this black content, black lines you see here are the border of this div. So we try to push away our content from this border to make it make sense. So what we use to achieve it is what? Padding. We are padding it off from the border. Why margin is looking at what? The external aspect of this div. This div, if there is nothing like margin, that means it will definitely move to this direction. It should be here. It will be hitting this wall. So this div could have started from here, hitting this wall like this. Then looking at the size, it will go like this. So there is no space in any way. But once we apply something like margin, find out what? It will push it off from its parent content. This div, this is the parent content. You try to push it off from the parent content, depending on the kind of margin we are talking of. Now we are talking of the container, which is our div, this one we did now, and how we can push it off, not the internally, externally, from the external things that is have contact with. So now we push it out. When we are pushing it from this up, down here, we will use margin top. We'll give him the number of space we want, maybe 100 pixel, 50 pixel, and so we can do something like margin top. We are adding 100 pixel to this place. That's what we did. So when we are pushing it from this place to this place, that means we are making use of what? Margin left. So we are telling margin left to push it off from here. When we are pushing it from this side, we are using margin what? Right. And each one specify the amount of units, how much we want it to shift. So likewise, this place is what? Once we are pushing it out, is margin bottom. So this is same thing applicable to padding. Once we are pushing it, our internal contents within a div off, from the border of the div, we still make use of the same thing: padding top, padding left, padding right, and padding what? Bottom, which is this down one, padding bottom. We use it to do what? Push off our contents of this whatever surrounding environment is having contact with. So let's go back to our code and practicalize these things I have explained here. Continue with the exploration of margin and the div. So far so good. We have understood a lot of things concerning this div, and I'm happy that you are following up. Thank you so much. You're too much. This one cough is coming. Is it coronavirus? No, it's not. Sorry. Okay, so back to our code. So like I've said, we have understood what padding and margin is. We like to experiment and see how it works. Come back to the code we have written before, we refresh, nothing is happening. Okay, we just have our heights displaying. But now everything is jamming. Like we told ourselves, like we have learned or we have understood that if we want to achieve this margin, what do? We implement it and there will be space, that it will provide space within the surrounding environment of each of these buses we are seeing here. When we say buses, the divs we have created, that should give some spacing and space out to make it look nice. Okay, and also I would like to give these divs, all these divs width. For now, they are taking 100%. Let's know if that one is also possible. So we can easily come to this place and do what? Width. Maybe you can choose 400 pixel for it. We save. I love checking out everything. Okay, you can see it. So each one now is taking 400. Owing that they are still jamming each other. There is no space yet. So in order to achieve this space, what do we do? Like we have done concerning margin. So we can simply do what we call margin. Sorry, margin. I think. So if we want, we can do margin top for each of them. That means any of these div, if we double click and check, we have what? Multiple divs. We have all these divs. We are turning each div to do what? Take a margin top of what? 20 pixel. Remember to put pixel and always end with semicolon. Anything you do, make sure you end with it. Forgetting it, you are finished, but not completely finished. But know that you are finished. So we can save since I've added my own semicolon. Important, very very important, make sure that you save before you preview. Don't type and preview and you will now shout my own is not working. No, make sure you save before you preview. Thank you for that. So now I've saved and preview. You find out what is happening. That margin top I added, margin top is taking effect. I can comfortably see it now that top there is a margin of 20 pixel in all of them. Now, can you see that this button is still jamming this our box here under here because we don't have anything like margin bottom. That's why we're experiencing such. There is nothing like margin what bottom for it. So, but we'll still come to that. Looking inside this place, how do you think we can be able to achieve what? Changing this thing from black to white, the text content. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. So let's do it. We go back to our code, go within this div. What do we need? We just need to add a property called what? Color. And we can change it to what? White. Good and fine. Close the semicolon. Always remember and save. Now I've done those two things. I refresh. It's white. It's white. We go back, increase the font size. I'm just typing out these things so that you will start learning some of the properties, some cool properties that CSS come with. Font size. So we can try it out and know what it is. Font size, maybe 30 pixel. You see us make use of pixel again. We made use of pixel, margin top. Once we are writing a number. So take note of that. I can now refresh. The font size is 30 pixel. It's now big, big, big. Wow. I'm happy. It's going. So back to our code. All these things we are doing, don't forget that we are currently on what? Internal styling. And external styling simply means styling within the head section. And that's as simple as ABCD. So we now try to switch to other kinds or types of styles, other ways we can also style. So we'll go back to what? How to. I think that's where we have those ways to style CSS. We are done with this guy, even though I've not explained it. Let me explain once I'm finished. Once we exhaust or once we are done with all of them, once I finish using them, giving example, explaining them, I can know what to do. So now, after in this internal, I think let's look at this inline. When we say inline style, what are we talking about? We are talking about coming to within these tags, these unique tags, and giving a specific style to them. So the inline means that you have to be in line with a particular element or tag. Make sure that it's in line with, style your content in line with what the elements or tag you're working with. So I can come to this particular div now and I decide to do what? To give it, what are we not having in this div? Oh, okay. So let me come to this button. Let's do the inline style within this button. I can do my style equals to, so I can have what? Maybe we change the background also. So trying to change this background, what are we going to achieve? Background color. Then I can give it, which may be orange. That's it. At the same time, I think we have done padding, so we can try adding padding. But this time around, I'm not going to use padding left, padding right, padding top, padding bottom like I explained. So once we write padding alone without specifying padding hyphen left, right, bottom and rest, that means we add the padding around the whole button. And know the difference between padding and margin. Padding is affecting internally. Margin is external to the box, internal inside the box. So I using margin mean that the effect should take place within inside the box. So now I'm adding padding, and I told you once you add padding alone, it will affect whole round. But if you are specifying one side, padding left to affect only left, top only top. If you are using margin left, good. Margin right only right. So now my padding, I want to give it 10 pixel. 10 pixel. This code is breaking off. So since it's breaking off, I'm gonna find a way from file. Do I have anything like word wrap? You help me and look for it. Do I have anything like that? Do I have? So I think I know where it is. We go to here, word wrap, we'll click so that we can see everything we are doing straight. So look, going back to our code, line 29, what is happening? We'll have it when that you can't enter in one line. That's why it's breaking. I can give simple space, doesn't mean anything. So we have our style, button style. I opened this style here. I started listing the properties of these elements, the styles I want to add to these elements. I wrote the first one, background color, which is orange. I close with semicolon. It doesn't mean that you are breaking it down, only that this line of code, this item I wrote here, cannot enter this place. That's why it's breaking down. I asked it to do what? Word wrap, to wrap it if it couldn't. I don't want it to leave the screen. That's what I'm doing. So just to be visible. That's why you are seeing it. So in one line, write everything. So I have this background color orange. If I remove this color, it's still okay. Background orange. You see that it's in one line. We're having our simple style, background orange, padding 10 pieces. So you can use background this way or you add background color, it's your choice. So when I try saving this now, I can as well add maybe 30 and that style to it, which I can call what? Color. Sorry, what am I even doing safe? I can add my color. I can say I want the color of this button because inline mean that any style I'm doing here now is just for this element, for this particular tag, button tag. That's where it's implementing. It's not leaving it. Even if you have multiple button, maybe I'll add another button on the back. Add button 2. So now I'm giving it a what color of white. So I close. Assuming I have a second button, which does not affect what I'm doing, I close. I can say register. Will I say register? So I can close this button. Button is closed. So why I'm creating this button on line 30 and the one on line 29 is just to explain that the color is only taking effect on line 29, which has inline. Assuming we had these buttons tied within the hex section and we mention button, that means it will come and look for anywhere we have button and add it. Good and fine. We save, we check our code, we refresh. You can see this button I added an background of orange, padding and color white. This is a normal button that have not been styled. So looking at the styles we added, I think we can see this background orange, we can see the color white, we can see the padding of what 10 pixel taking effect in it. So this is a good example of inline styling of our button. Good. Another thing we'll be looking now is the third method of adding styling. So let's look at this external style, external CSS, how we can be able to style our work using external method. So coming to the external method, at this point, I think it's important that I now explain the three important differences concerning them, the differences we have. So whenever we are making use of what inline, one good thing about it is that it makes it simple. As you are coding, doing whatever you are doing, you find out that as you are typing your HTML work, you can just decide to let me add this style. You type in the style immediately. As you code along, as you are going down, you'll be just adding elements, adding style. But at the end of the day, it makes our work less readable. People find it difficult to read because we are combining both HTML and CSS. Sometimes it's overcrowded. That's one issue. Secondly, the issue this inline is having is based on we are still working on a one page. Every good website or every website, we expect it to have multiple pages. That's what makes up a website if it's not a single page application. So now mean that a website, we expect multiple pages. The implication is that when we are now working on our second page, we'll have to start rewriting this whole style, which is very bad. Imagine after typing all this in, we come to a new page, maybe about us, we start typing most of the styles. Contact us page, we are keep on typing. So this thing also, the disadvantage also is applicable to internal, which is also the styling within the head section. Implication is what? Once we are working with this internal, we end up retyping everything we have. Once we are creating any new page, we'll have to make sure we retype everything if we need them, the ones we need. It doesn't mean that you will retype everything, sorry. So the majority of the code we need in the second page or a new page we are creating, we'll have to start retyping or copying. So imagine when you have a CSS that is maybe 1,000 lines of code of CSS and the rest of them. That means you have heavy work to do, a lot of work. So that's another thing. So whenever we are talking of this external best recommended for me, I think is the best. One of the reasons is once we are working on any work, external styling implies what we are looking at now is how we are going to create our CSS in another page different from our HTML page. Another page different from our HTML page. And that new page, when we open a new page like this, Ctrl N, we'll make sure that we save it. And for us to be able to save something, we can type anything and do Ctrl X. So we'll make sure that we'll save it with .css. We are not saving it now with .html. We can call it any name and make sure we save it with what? .css. For example, I can call this main.css. most of the times it's also recommended in Notepad. You don't do this in VS Code and other code editors. But this you can also choose your style, which is containing style sheets, for the system to know that this is what you are working on. So remember main.css, which is very important. That's what you take note. So external styling, you must create a separate page which will save with .css. You can choose any name. This is your choice. You can call this thing any name of your choice. Mind you, this thing should not be maybe my style .css. If you watch what we have here, what are you seeing? You notice that what there is a space here, and this space is seriously an issue. This space is seriously what? An issue. I don't know if I can zoom it out. It's not zooming out. So that's the, I could have shown it very well. So please try as much as possible to make it one word. One word. It's either you close it up and have my style.css, or you can use underscore if you must separate it. My style.css. Underscore. This is underscore, and this is hyphen. So you should take notes. Don't make mistake concerning this. So you can have any name of your choice. You can use style.css. It's also your choice. That one does not affect what you are doing. So please, as we continue, we found that we need to save this work now. When we are saving, important thing we should take note is what? The location of where we are saving it to. So looking at what we have, we have a folder called unizig. This is the path which we are following. This is showing that I have this file in my desktop, and inside it I have a folder called unizig. Inside the folder unizig, I'm having all these folders: css, images, js, and I wish to save it inside what? CSS. Assuming it's not showing me the right path, make sure that it's there. I can on my own look for it. I can click on desktop so I know that the work I'm working on currently is on the desktop. I can now see unizig. I double click, is back on track to this place. Then we select CSS. The essence of these folders we created here is just to simplify our work for us and for other people or third parties, people that would like to go through our work, or in any case that may like to make use of it, work with it, other developers or web designers that would like to partner in our work. So it's very important. What this simplifies is that once they open in this work, this kind of work, or any of your work, they don't need to start asking you too much question. Because if they want to edit anything on CSS, they already know that you have a folder called CSS, and they can see all the styling you are doing concerning a particular web page or concerning a full web application you have done. So whenever it's looking up for any images, it's simple. It doesn't need to start going to CSS. When you're talking of images, he goes straight to images folder and look up for any image of his choice. When you're talking of JavaScript, you know that you just have to go to this JavaScript and look up for the JavaScript of his choice. So now we're working with CSS. We open this folder in order to save inside it. We can now comfortably save inside of it. So now we have an external style sheet, style.css. Like I said before, this style, the name here is your choice. You can name it anything, but .css must be there. So now let's try to check it out to make sure that it's working. So simple way of achieving this is by removing what we have in the head section, which is the what? Internal styling. That does not mean that whenever you are working on these styles, whenever you're using these styles, that you only make use of one in a particular web page. No, you can combine 3 of them at the same time. It's your choice. You can be writing inline, like you can even see here. I already have an inline. I have inline here, and also have internal up. So we can make use of 3 of them at the same time. We have our internal already existing. So just that I want to explain this external very well. That's why I want to take off this inline. So there are 2 ways of taking it off. One is either we delete it entirely, removing everything we have here, or we can comment off. So commenting simply means in programming or general knowledge of it, in everything we are doing web designing, making a code not to be invisible. so that our browser will not see it again, making it a way that our browser will come and jump it. But for us users, we can be able to have access to it. So one of the things when we talk of comments, it can come in a way that you wrote a code, you have multi lines of code, and you want to specify to guide yourself that tomorrow, once you come back, you can do what? Easily remember what you are doing or what you did there. So you can write a comment which the browser will not read or interpret, it will jump it, but you can see and it will guide you. So comment in CSS is simple. If we go back and take we have comments, it's showing us how we can comment our work. Looking at it, is telling us that we can run our comment simply this way by adding a slash star. Then we write our comments, close with this hash, this star, or what they call it, with slash again. So please take note, you can now implement it in this CSS. So mean that comments can be in one line and multi-line, is your choice. This. So I'm trying to create my own comments. Add this star and another one slash. In between both of them, I can say this is my first comment. That's it. So this is just single line comments which we should take note of. Assuming we want to make it multi-line, we can simply take this last one. Maybe I can cut it off and go end it wherever I want. I can say that I want it to end here. I can paste it. That means the comment is starting from here and it's ending here. I can go down and still say I want it to end here, this place. It can as well do what? End here. So that means we are commenting of everything we have within this time. You can have multiple comments. It does not mean that we can only use one. I can decide to, this one I'm opening here, that I wish to close it this place. So it's now closing one line, and I wish to start another comment here, which started on line 8 and is now closing on line what? 18. You can still bring it down, it's your choice. On line 19 now. So we have 2 comments. This is my first comment. We have another one. So we can specify what we are doing here. You understand? So I can do something like, I can say something of this nature, styling using internal CSS. So that means once I come back here, seeing this line 7, I will say, okay, I'm doing internal styling. I will say, okay. So it guides me, but the system or browser cannot read anything here. Once after reading line 6, it will jump everything you have from line 7 to line 19 and continue from line 20. Nothing spoil. So that's commenting on CSS. Same thing when you come to commenting on HTML, it's also very simple. All we need to do is what? Less than, greater than. Then this exclamation mark, you put what? Hyphen 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that it's 4 and not underscore. We're not talking of this underscore. This is underscore. So make sure that it's a hyphen. In between the 4, in between this 4, that is where you write your comments. So I can now say something like, this is a simple HTML comments. So we can as well use this to guide ourselves. Same time, you can write it multi-line. Does not mean that it must be single. So achieving multi means that make sure that this thing is what you are moving down. Don't move it from here. No, you find that it's scattering, it's causing a double wahala in our work. So from the end of the comment section, this is the beginning of the comments. So from the end, you can just enter. So anything you wish to write. My comments continues. So we can write anything we wish. This is our choice. We can still say anything. My name is affirms val. So within, for the fact that it's falling within this closing and opening section of this comment in HTML, it's okay. We save our code what we are going to lose now is all the style we have done so far, because we are no longer using them. We have commented them off. So we found that they are all gone except the what inline style, which we have not commented off. So that's the only one taking effect now. The inline style on line 34. When we click this button, we can see that we have a style here. That's the only thing that is showing now. So back to our external styling. So we can simply try it out. Maybe you can put body. So when we add body, open and close, we can simply give a background to it to know if it will show. So the background we wish to give it now is simply purple. So we save. No big deal. Now if we save, do you think that we're going to see this background? If I refresh, no, we're not going to see it. Why? Because we just have this style. We have not notified our HTML page that we have the external style we wish to use, that please you should link up this style for us. We have not done so. So in order to make this CSS visible in this HTML, so that this HTML can see it and make use of whatever we have inside the style.css, we need to bring in a link. We can insert it any aspect of our code we want. So after this title just opened, in order to bring it, we need to link that CSS. Now I'm typing link, and it's relative like we did in the other one to what? Style sheet. We add our style sheets. Then another important thing is href. Href is asking us where are we going to get this from, this style you are talking of. Where am I going to look up for it? Where am I going to check for this style you are talking of? I need to split this window to guide us very well to see what is happening. So I can now split them and tell him that I have a folder called Unizik. So once I open this folder called Unizik, I minimize this a little. So this is our index.html, which is where we are where we are working on currently. You can see it, index.html. So we have a CSS. We're not telling him that we want him to access this folder called CSS. There is a file we have inside it called style.css. If we check it out, we find that we have something, a type. We have a type called .css. This is this type, cascading style sheet. It's telling of the type of the file, which is CSS. So we have style.css. So in order to achieve this from where we are here, we are telling him that we want him to open CSS. So the same, that's what we will tell him. We are currently in index, which is this thing we are looking at. Then we want you to open CSS. We'll type CSS. Open means put a slash on it. Assuming this file is also in another folder, let me create a folder called new, and I drag and drop this inside this new. So I want it to be inside new. So what I'm having now is what? When we open CSS, we'll see new folder. When we open new, we'll now see this style. So implication is what? When we are trying to trace this file from our current workplace, which is this index.html, which we are seeing here, we need to open access CSS. So we are now typing CSS from, let me reduce the size of this so we can see very well. So from here we want to open CSS folder in which we have typed in CSS. This slash means open it, so it will open it for us. Once you open it, we are seeing new. There's another folder called new. Assuming assuming there is no folder like new, we are just having this. We just write the file straight. But since we still have another folder called what? New. We do what? We now open the new folder. We put slash that it should open it. That means we are here now. We can now finally do what? Put our style.css. Remember, this one that does not have any dots, anything at the end is a folder. It's taken to be folders. Anyone that have dots something is an extension. That means it's now is a file. So that's another thing to take home. Please don't make that mistake. So with this what we have done so far, that means this CSS is now visible in this HTML. This HTML can now say, I know where you are. So as our browser is interpreting this code, coming to this line sys to say link, okay, want me to link to an external file, and the file we're telling is relative to style sheet. We are trying to link to a style sheet file to say, okay, noted. Coming to href, it will say, okay, coming to href, it will now understand that this href is telling us where we can get that file we want to link. It will now start tracing it from what I explained before, that where this index is, he should also see a folder called CSS. He should open it. When he open it, did they see the file? Is there a file there? No. What he saw is another folder called new, which he opened. When he opened that folder called new, he now saw the file. Assuming there is another folder that the work this CSS is, we need to still pass the folder. Maybe HH is the name of the folder. That means we'll still do what? Enter that folder. So this HH I added here. Now if I want to make it work, I need to go back to this Unizik, open this. I need to create a folder called what? HH. Because we are telling him that we are going to see a folder called HH that is inside this folder called HH. I copy, I cut it, and I paste it inside this HH. So now we see that there is a folder called HH. You can see and access the file. Good. So when we save, it's aware of this work, and we refresh our work page. Wow, the color is back because it's now seen our external style sheet. And in our external style sheet, we have this background color, background purple. So which we should take notes of. Very important. So now we can as well achieve it by not having all this folder. We just want, once you open CSS, you see this. So we can clean off all this folder we're having. So we are telling him now that simply open the CSS. Once you open the CSS folder, you will see the style straight. Can you please solve this? Solve. You can do it. Try it out. So what we mean is what? We come here, we copy or we cut this file. We cut off this file. When we cut it, we come out. From what our code is saying, that immediately we open this folder called what? CSS. We're going to see the style. So we are simply doing what? Telling him that once we open this folder, we will now paste this file, because we're telling that we will see this file straight. We can comfortably delete this folder, so the file is available again. If I should save and refresh our work, our style will still be there because there is no mistake. But once you make mistake and add anything that is not there, you are telling that you have a file called new, that you should open it, which is not what we are having currently. Low battery, which is not what we are having currently. That means it is going to fail us. There is no style, because looking at this place, you find out that what is happening after CSS, we don't have anything like new. So that's what we have. So far, so good. Now we have achieved it, meaning that I would like you to try out every other style we have been doing to adopt some of these things we saved here. I can simply copy them, or let me just copy the div. So if I copy this div, copy, and go to the external style, I can now open this external style, zoom it out more, open with Notepad. I can now, after this opening and closing braces, like I told you, you come under it, you can now paste the div, the code we have initially, and we save. You will find out that what will happen, those divs will take it again. So what is happening? So I think what is happening is just that we are still in this new. We have not removed this new because we don't have anything like that. So now I've removed that new folder and save. If we check it out, if we refresh, we find that wow, we are back to square one. Thank you so much for watching this video. In our next video, we are going to add more to this. We are going to make this work look more realistic, make it look more wow, make it look as we expected. Thank you for watching this video. You are blessed.